Welcome to the MVP Show. Full show notes for this episode can be found at nz365guy.com/271. Before we chat with today's guest, here's a quick message from our sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. It's amazing what can change in 90 days. Just look at the effects of COVID-19 since March this year. This year, I had the pleasure of mentoring 100 people in the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. If you want to be mentored in the next 90-day challenge, please go to nz365guy.com/mentor. It's 100% free. Now, let's get on with the show. Today's MVP is from Sao Paulo in Brazil. He's a head of innovation and products at his company. He is a 3 times MVP, first starting in office side of things and now in business applications. He's a volunteer at MTAC Brazil, where he shares his technical knowledge for free and technology mentor to develop sustainable projects for the United Nations. He's the author of a book called App de Despeasa, which we'll get him to talk about momentarily. He has a massive YouTube channel at Douglas Romao, so worth checking out, and also his website, douglasromao.com. Welcome to the show, Douglas.
Yeah, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Tell us first of all about that book. It's obviously, is that Portuguese title? Tell us what the book's about.
Yeah, I wrote something related to Power Apps in the beginning of things, because here in Brazil, this kind of stuff, it's like starting right now. It's not like in the rest of the world. So it's kind of the same, but in Brazil, it's just the beginning. So, and I've been working with Power Apps since the beginning, like 2 or 3 years ago. And then I tried to write something that it's kind of an introduction for anyone that would like to start working with that. So it's kind of an ebook that I wrote just to like give the kickstart or for everyone. Yeah.
I like it. It's available on Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so good. We'll make sure that's in the show notes. But tell us about, first of all, where you live and what you do for fun when you're not working.
Yeah, I live in a city nearby São Paulo. It's called São José dos Campos. It's quite like there is some green still, and it's not the craziness as we have in São Paulo, but it's like 1 hour. And I live here since forever. And in my free time, usually as a developer, I used to like code, but I'm trying to do some I'm kind of a sport guy. I tried to be something like that. So I like to do skating and things like that.
Skating?
Yeah.
What type of skating?
I tried in my when I was a teenager, I started to play a lot of skate and a vertical and also in the street. And then I became a developer, and then now I need to focus on computers and this kind of stuff. So I let a little bit down, but sometimes I like to get back to that, because I'm not nearby the ocean, so I can't surf, and I'm not nearby a snowboard place, so the skate is the only thing that I can do now.
So I think you're the first person I've had on from Brazil and doing an interview from Brazil. Tell me, Brazil's one of those countries I haven't visited yet. The closest I've got to Portuguese, languages, I've been to Portugal, and of course there must be a link between Portugal and Brazil over time. But tell me, if I was to come to Brazil, what are the must things that I should do and food I should try that I might not get anywhere else?
Yeah, the food, there is something that everyone likes from outside, and from inside it's kind of okay, we like, but there are a lot of people from outside that likes a lot. It's feijoada. It's something like with pork, and beans. And there is the heavy one that everyone wants to try, but it's really heavy. And the other one that it's kind of an easy one. But feijoada is something that everyone likes. And if you go to a place called Minas Gerais, you would like to try pão de queijo. It's a bread of cheese, and it's something that everyone likes a lot because it's a whole bread made of cheese. So it's really good.
So is there bread as well, or is it just cheese?
Nah, there is some other stuff inside, but most of the thing is cheese. So it's really good.
Sounds nice.
And places to go on, they usually tell a lot of Rio de Janeiro, but there are some other places that are really beautiful. And nearby here, when I live where I live, we have like a lot of beaches that are really really beautiful. And I visited some other places around the world, and I would say that the ones here are pretty different and pretty like it's better for me. It's better, and everyone that I know that came from outside to Brazil, they really liked because the beaches here are really good.
Okay, so definitely the beaches is something I should hang out on if I come to
Yeah,
Brazil.
definitely.
What about music? What's the music like there?
Everyone thinks that here is only samba, but it's not like that. Everyone asked me if I like the carnival and samba and everything like that, but it's just some places that they have here. Brazil, it's a huge country, so we have like a huge difference between the top and the down, and I'm like in the middle, a little bit more to the down. But it's like it's almost like a different countries inside the same country. So it's we have everything here. If you go a little bit up, it's a type of music. If you go where I live, it's more like funk and rock and electronic music. So, and if you go to Rio de Janeiro, it's a lot of samba and things like that. But yeah, Brazil, it's like a huge country with a lot of different stuff.
Yeah. I definitely must visit one day. It's just
Yeah, it's really good.
yeah, everything I see of the people and what I've seen just seems amazing, and I think it'd be a good place to visit.
Yeah, the people here, it's like warm. And I lived a little bit in Germany as well. And I could say that here it's everyone, it's like helpful and it's different. I would say that it's different, this part.
So you did you co-found a company together? Can you tell us a bit about your company and what you do there?
Yeah, actually, I found my first company in 2010. I started like just as a consultant with one or two people, and then with ups and downs. The last year, in 2 years ago, I started to do something with overseas. Like I did some stuff with Denmark, some countries, some companies in Denmark, some companies in Germany, and also in Australia. And then last year I merged my company with two other ones, and we stayed with one of the names of the companies, that is Trentim, this one that I am right now. Right now we are about 40 people, 45, I think. And basically our focus is with managing stuff and doing some development through the Power Platform, but also with Project Online and SharePoint and everything that it's developing stuff or developing business applications with Microsoft 365. And I've been working with SharePoint since 2007. So I watched everything changing, SharePoint going online and everything else, and then like becoming a business developer right now or business consultant. It's something that was like okay for me because I was always a pro developer. So was pretty good to see everything working and everything changing the last 10 years.
Yeah. So, so tell me a bit about. You're saying you're working with clients in other countries. How does that work out? As in, are you doing implementation work for them, and how are these companies coming to you and working with you?
Yeah, some of them are like implementation. Some of them we had a project with a company in Canada the last 2 months ago, and it was something like they need to implement some stuff with a project, and they were thinking about using Project Online. And then we said, oh, there is a lot of new technologies going on, and the project for the web and everything. And then we started to do implementation there with that. So we basically mapped all the processes and did some interview and leanception like sessions. And then we implemented the whole thing. And right now we are basically managing everything, supporting them, and following the next steps. But also in Europe, we have some customers we have like a team here that develops some stuff for them. So because in Brazil we have, like, comparing with Europe, for example, our currency, it's cheaper than the guys from Europe. So we are kind of, we don't like this. I personally don't like this kind of like just body shop someone. But so we try to do something like that, merge it with or mix it with something like, we try to understand the product, or try to understand the solution that they want, and try to bring some ideas, and try to do some partnership instead of just body shop someone.
Yeah. So when looking at your website, I can see you got some big brand clients on there: Monsanto, Johnson Controls, ESI International, PMI, Project Management Institute. So these are some big names that you're connecting with and picking up. How do you do your sales and marketing part of your business to engage and land these clients?
One of the things that we discovered when we merged uh, our three companies is that all of the three partners, that it's me and more two, and we have like a lot of contacts inside this company. So, for example, PMI, it's one of the big brands that we have, and we have Mario, that is one of my partners. He has a lot of connections inside them, and inside the it's a lot of other companies that are around this project management stuff. And then we try to use some of our connections, because we have a lot of them, and me as an MVP, and he's an MVP as well. We try to use this leverage of being like a person that it's known, to market and sale. And right now, after this merge, we like gather everyone, and we say, okay, let's not just focus in us. We need to like build our brand aside of us. And then right now we are trying to do some stuff like that, and trying to promote our personal brands to like canalize all the demands to the company.
Yeah. So when you look at Brazil and Microsoft's, the number of companies in Brazil that are using Microsoft technologies, is it a big market? Are a lot of companies adopting things like Power Apps and the Power Platform, or so what is kind of like the landscape like from a business sense for Microsoft Power Platform?
I was just to give a context. The last 2 years, I've been like traveling a lot to Europe, and then I try to like do this comparison between the beginning of the changing of mindset in Europe and in Brazil, and I know that it's different because of the costs of things, and also because of I don't know if it's like a mindset that Brazilians have, that they don't get things this innovation as a first thing to, okay, let's have a place here to try new things and try new stuff. So they consider a lot of these costs, and they don't see about the innovation itself. So comparing these two things in the last 2 years, I see that Brazil, now that they are starting to look at Power Platform and see, okay, this is a good stuff. And like right now in the after the pandemic started, basically, and I saw that we did a lot of training and a lot of new applications, because they are trying to reduce costs, and they are seeing that, okay, there is an opportunity here. But for example, Dynamics is something that it's quite difficult to implement because of the costs.
That makes sense.
And I think that the Brazilian companies, they usually try to use, okay, I can build a software here that uses some open source stuff with something else that I pay a little bit, just this kind of mixed weird stuff. And I can see that a lot of companies, huge companies, they are starting to see that the users are starting using. So I have an example to give, that it's one of our customers. They hired us right now to give some training for them in the whole Power Platform, but they discovered in the meantime that they had like 30,000 applications running already. And it's because the users saw something in their internet, sometimes my channel, and they said, okay, I want to start doing things like that. And they started to do the trial version. And then right now they became like huge applications that the IT needs to have a governance or something like that. And I can see that there's a lot of companies happening the same thing. Like they just are discovering right now that they already have some applications that are like critical to the business already, but they didn't even know what it is, Power Platform. And we are kind of trying to give this consciousness to them, like, okay, guys, this is something that you don't need to be afraid, because there are some companies that are just shutting down everything. And then we are trying to discuss and say, no, this is not to be afraid of, but it's something that you need to know about. You need to create a governance, create uh, an adoption process or something like that, because it's like a huge thing that can give or bring to the business a lot of value, but it still has to be something like with some governance, at least a minimal version of it.
Totally. So you mentioned your channel there. Are you talking about your YouTube channel? Because I can see your channel's entirely in Portuguese.
Yeah.
Tell us about your YouTube journey and kind of what you've seen come out of the work you've done on YouTube.
To be honest, I started my YouTube, I think was the beginning of last year or something like that. Wasn't that much time. I usually preferred or used to prefer to speak in events or something like that. And also I did a lot of blog posts. And then I started to see, okay, blog posts is something that takes a lot of time, and time is something that it becomes difficult when you have like more people in the company and you need to take care of more stuff and things like that. So I thought, okay, let's start something that I can bring some value, but with some videos and things like that. And then I started. And then right now that I'm trying to do something more professional, because if I look at the videos from last year, I would be ashamed.
Yeah, but you keep improving, right?
Yeah, of course. I bought some lights, and right now I'm improving a little bit more. But I like to speak in events as well, and I try to do this kind of stuff. But I started my YouTube channel with this objective. I don't see this community stuff as something that I would say that this community stuff is something that I really like to push and to bring some ideas and discussions and things like that, because one of my concerns is that the people start using stuff without thinking of it. And this is a risk for the companies. And I saw this happening with SharePoint, for example. I give you this example every time that someone is talking about the Power Platform. And I say, okay, I saw the changing and the mindset changing between SharePoint 2010, 2013, 2016. And I saw here in Brazil, at least, I don't know in Europe and in the other places, but here in Brazil, I saw that a lot of people saw, okay, we have now a tool that can give us as power users a way to do stuff without developing. Nice. And they started to build things without thinking of it, without thinking of the next 5 years, 10 years. And then suddenly SharePoint start crashing because of it. And I think personally, it's my opinion that Microsoft changing the whole brand, the whole thing behind SharePoint, and also the visual and everything, not only because it's something that needs to be like rebuilt time to time, but also to show people, okay, SharePoint is a good stuff. Because here in Brazil, people say, okay, SharePoint is not that good thing. And actually it is. It's because of the people using without thinking, using without like seeing the consequences, and also the relation behind the scenes. And I agree that a lot of platforms as Power Platform, it's giving power to the users. But as we have in the Spider-Man movie, these things brings the responsibilities as well that we need to think of.
So true. So true. Well, Douglas, has been so good talking to you. Our time has flown past so quickly, and there's more I'd love to discuss. But I always like finishing these shows up with some quick-fire questions that are very random, and if you can't answer them, you can just say pass, okay?
Okay.
Okay, here's the first one. What's the wildest party you've ever been to?
I would say Amsterdam.
Yeah.
I had a good one there.
I think we all have, right? That's so good. What is something you think everyone should do at least once in their lives?
See like the sun rising in a good place. Like there's a lot of places in the world that can give you this kind of view. I think it's like shining your mind and heart.
I love it. I love it. If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
To make the time stop.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good. Would you rather watch a movie at a movie theater, or would you rather watch it at home? Thinking about before COVID.
Watch at home.
Okay. What's the last thing you completed on your bucket list?
I have a bunch of them. I don't know.
Which season or which time of the year do you like the best? Is it summer? Is it winter? Is it autumn? Or is it spring?
I think it's spring.
Yeah, nice. Everything's been refreshed. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Douglas, thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to meeting you perhaps in the future once the world goes back to normal.
Perfect. Thank you for the time, and everyone that will heard this show. It was a huge pleasure to be here.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP, Mark Smith, also known as the NZ365 Guy. Please like and subscribe on your favorite podcast app if you enjoy the show. If you want to leave a review, go to nz365guy.com/review. You can see all the current reviews that are up there, and feel free to add your own. Otherwise, stay safe out there, and I'll see you next time.